Good evening, Speed Gaming 5. Welcome to another Link to the Past Randomizer League Week 7 match going on tonight between Shacktool's Digging Game and Old Swagger Jackson. This game means a lot to Shacktool. We'll get into that in just a second. My name is Tracy M. With me today is Radical Sleeper 99, Jesse. Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to another fun matchup. These Randomizer co-ops have been a lot of fun this week so far. A lot of odd occurrences throughout.
Also, just gotta point out the Old Swagger Jackson names. Walter. It looks like he's in chat. Your teammates, I have a few things to say to you, it looks like. But yeah, so we do have Shacktool's Digging Game. They were in first place until a few hours ago, but that was because WJT whatever, thank you for all those letters, did win both their games and have taken a slight lead, but that could change if Shacktool wins both games. Both their games this week, they will finish in first. If they win one, they have a real good shot at first. And everything else depending on, and they can still finish in first if they lose, depending on what happens in other games. So there's all sorts of tie breaks.
Exactly. The tie breaks for the end of this week are numerous, and they are complicated, and they go many layers deep.
Yeah, and we do have Hitaka and Azder on Shacktool's Digging Game versus Marcnificent and Qirn on Old Swagger Jackson. And let's see, Hitaka doing the doing the top route, Azder doing Uncle. Qirn looks like he's going to do some Houlihan action to get some money. So far, Quake, the only meaningful thing that anybody's gotten.
Yeah, we only got some bombs out of the Sanctuary. That's not a terrible start in this kind of mode, or any real open mode like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice to get some bombs to help you out in Kakariko. 3 will get you through most everything. You might still have to buy some if you want to do more stuff after that. Qirn, let's see, where is Qirn going? Always gonna check the Hylia Island just for 5 rupees. And it looks like he's gonna buy some bombs with the money he picked up at Houlihan.
Yeah, which probably indicates we're gonna see either Sahasrara or South Shore.
Yep. And Hitaka looks like he grabbed a fish. Really convenient in this mode. Not really convenient in most modes. He can take this to the bottle vendor and get a whole lot of goodies that we're gonna see in just a moment.
Yeah, the big one being 8 bombs, but then you get a little bit of magic, a little bit of money, a little bit of arrows. So just a quick start to your base equipment or your, some of those luxuries.
Well, not with a whole lot here. A lot of bombs though, so that's nice. Okay, Saha, let's see. Oh, a cape, a lamp. If that had been a sword. But the cape and the lamp are always intriguing. Hitaka picking up a flute and a mirror in Blind's Hut.
Yeah, that's a great start there for sure. Just being able to navigate the world quickly.
Yeah, and being able to get that flute and activate it on the first trip into Kakariko is always nice. And a cane in the chicken hut, which has actually got chickens in it in Randomizer, which isn't usually what happens.
Yeah, that room can be one of the scarier ones when you start the game. You don't want to walk in there, or you commonly walk in there and run into 3 or 4 guards.
Okay, just a piece of heart at the dam. Azder, having not picked up his flute yet, can't activate it. For a moment there, I thought we were going to get synced activations. We'll see what the flooded item is. Just a piece of heart. All right, with that flute, I suspect we'll see at least one of Hitaka and Azder do the South Shore checks. We'll see if one of them does something different.
Yeah, as we do see Qirn going through mini Moldorm Cave. Not too bad. Just pretty vanilla, just with a couple of mini Helmas in there as well, which aren't too difficult to deal with usually.
Money so far, and bombs. So a whole lot of money and some bombs over there in that mini Moldorm Cave. But there was a big 300, so if they do end up needing the Zora item, that it will be a good place to get it. Okay, Azder gonna go check the eastern area, so he'll get that lamp and that cape over in Saha's hut. So I suspect Hitaka gonna go over to South Shore. We did see map checks. I did see a 5-6 at Desert. Did not quite see the other.
And my eyes were driven to the exact same location as you. So
well, we're a bad pair then. We do have our 2 trackers, Drosy and Yoinker's Life. Hopefully they caught a little bit more. I do see Eastern Palace being and Tower of Hera both being marked as crystals. Okay, Hitaka gonna do the race game. I didn't see if he checked the item first. It's a sword, so he's gonna grab it. It looks like Azure bailed on the eastern area. Is going to do South Shore instead.
yeah,
It might be because of that sword. I do wonder about that.
yeah,
Hitaka picks up
surprising. Azder did leave there so soon, and not check race game as well. But this, a big part of this is how much can we subdivide?
Yep. Okay, and it looks like they're just switching things up. So Hitaka's going to check the Saha area. But that does give us AGA access. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone pulls that trigger early.
I think in general we'll probably see, probably wait at least until maybe you have Pearl. You don't want to have to do all that just to land on the pyramid and find, oh, I don't have Moon Pearl.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see anyone doing it before Moon Pearl. Randomizer being a little bit different in that Eastern Palace. While not in logic technically to do the boss, they can complete it. The logic doesn't take into account that the enemies are changed, but those I will be able to get all the way to the back. And I think Hitaka is going to head straight over to Eastern Palace. I think that's why the switch. Since Hitaka has that sword, it just makes a little bit more sense for him to go into Eastern Palace. Whereas Azure can do the South Shore chucks and then pick up that sword right afterwards.
Unfortunately, we do have that floating skull over by Eastern, and those are deceptively dangerous enemies. They're very slow,
nasty,
but they hit like a truck.
They really do.
Yeah, I think
they always seem to. They always seem to float in the wrong spot too.
Yeah, I think there's something about their sword hit on them actually sends them closer to you.
Oh, I didn't know that. Learned something, if that's the case.
Or at least that's what I've noticed when I've dealt with them.
I just noticed they just get in the way. Okay. So I do think we're going to have a bunch of runners in Eastern shortly. Probably get a little bit of Death Mountain checking. Marcnificent are heading over towards Death Mountain, going to at least rescue the old man. Not a whole lot we can do here, but we can get to Hera. So that's probably a play.
Full clear Hera, possibly. Boss dependent. But...
Yeah, when we say full clear, just keep in mind that everything is boss dependent. Now Trinex can't show up at the top of Hera, so I don't know if Argus can show up at the top there. Those are the 2 bosses that have the biggest gates in terms of actually being able to.
Never seen an Argus up there, but first time for everything.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna get our first look at Ice Rod Cave over on Qirn's side. Azure picking up a Moon Pearl at Agina. Wow. Okay.
Definitely one of those locations you find runners kind of shy away from, but with that flute, I think that makes that an easier play to kind of convince yourself to make.
I think we're going to see an escape play from Azure. He may do the Aga play. We'll see.
Yeah, with Mirror, this will be really convenient. Going down to Zelda's cell, able to go into Dark Cross with that mirror, or with that lamp, and then possibly hit the back.
Is he changing his mind again?
It appears so.
Yes, he is changing his mind again. Gonna do... Oh, did Hitaka find something in Eastern that I missed? Because it's the biggest reason I can see for him to go there instead. Oh, he wants that lamp. So he's gonna go to Saha, get the lamp, and then we'll see if he goes back to the castle, if he does the mountain.
Yeah, so that's just a little, I don't want to call it a miscommunication, but just a changing of priorities, kind of.
Well, I'm sure Hitaka said, "Hey, there's a lamp and a cape in Saha," and you know, classic runner thing. I think everybody's been guilty of this. Is that you think you have the item just because you know where it is. So far, Eastern not coming up with much though.
Yeah, Marcnificent is in Tower of Hera right now. The first 2 checks gave us our small key and our big key, so nothing so far.
We can continue. No hook shot, so no Hera pot. Okay, now I was just gonna go do escape.
And we are getting a Zora check from Qirn. All this is technically out of logic right now.
Right, because no flippers, no mitts. Sorry, no glove. Hitaka. I'm not sure what he died to. Did not see the boss, if that was what he got to, or if he just died before getting there.
I believe it was the dark room. So
okay, so he's gonna go right back in. Or not.
I'm guessing there was a bit of a back and forth there between Hitaka and Azder, kind of going, what should we do next? You know, that back of Eastern is pretty dangerous. So
we did see a glove in the escape though. Alright, Hitaka gonna go pick up his moon pearl. You see a container heart sitting there on the desert ledge. Which, you know, depending on where they're at, by the time they can get to that, they might grab that. We are still on 3 hearts on 2 of the runners and 4 hearts on the other 2, so...
Yeah, that's the bigger piece, kind of the unsung issue of this Randomizer. I think in general, you know, a solo Randomizer, our runners shouldn't have really much trouble with kind of navigating this, but in a co-op situation, you know, expect a bit more low percent strategies.
A nice easy popo to get the big key at the bottom here. And some bombs. And as you're going to save and quit, it looks like. Finding that glove probably changes the priorities. Makes it a little more likely that it's not Nagaseed. So we'll see if he decides to go to the mountain now. And Qirn gonna head over to the escape, so he'll get his glove as well. As you're gonna check the back of escape.
Yeah, much quicker way to get there. You know, the big question there is, where is the key? Oh wait, sorry. Actually, we would know that it must be in cross, I think, at this point.
It could be here.
Or do we?
It could be right here. But that's the point. That's why I didn't do Dark Cross, because it could have the key or the map. But of course it doesn't. Looks like he's gonna not do Dark Cross. Let's see.
Yeah,
might leave that to Hitaka's gonna do Dark Cross.
Yep, able to relay that information just at the right time. That's one of those little problems you run into in this mode. Is, you know, hopefully all these checks start lining up in the right way, where somebody is just about to do something to tell you the info you need.
Oh, nice fire bars. Oh my god. And Hitaka's the one with only 3 hearts, so... Okay, Azder's just gonna go for it. I don't believe we didn't see everything in Hera. And I don't know if we saw everything in Eastern, but we are running out of locations that could have anything.
And we got
but a shovel. Okay. Hitaka's gonna go grab his gloves, and then we'll see if he checks that shovel. Hitaka also going to go ahead and do Aga. It's a bold play. They have not seen what's on the mountain. They don't know what's at that shovel spot. If it is an Aga play, if Aga is the right call, this is going to give them a huge advantage. If it's not, they're going to waste a few minutes going through here. I'm a little surprised that they're both going for it. Although I know Azure to be fairly aggressive on these plays, so I don't know as much for Hitaka.
Yeah, definitely a surprising move. You kind of expect at least some requirement or like one runner to kind of gamble this, but to send both at the same time definitely seems.
It's a bold, yeah, it's a bold move.
And we have a
very high payoff
in there.
Oh, ick. Those just like to show up in Randomizer, and they can just ruin your day. Okay, Qirn looks like he's going to check that shovel. Qirn's been doing a lot of the overworld checks. I think between all our runners, the only thing I don't think we've seen, like I said, I don't think we've seen all of Hera. I'm not sure if we've seen all of Eastern. So if this is not a glove or a hammer, then it's a really good chance that the Aga play is the right one. And it is a piece of heart. And Qirn gonna go get this Moon Pearl, so there's a really good chance that this is the right play. So that's gonna give Azure and Hitaka a nice advantage for having already done this, while Mark and Qirn may just try and clear everything before they do this play and just get to their Dark World a lot later. The good news is if they can finish these dungeons, that'll be something that the others will still have to do.
Yeah, I think the only question here is, and we're seeing Marcnificent go back in or go into Eastern at this point. You know, is it possible that Mitz or the Hammer might have been on Armos? Or
yeah, whatever the boss is. Try and count these items here. I'm terrible counting items when I'm playing. I'm worse when I'm watching.
And Hitaka has to be really careful here.
Oh, it gets a heart.
And Qirn and Marcnificent are actually both going into Eastern Palace at this point. So no hedging of the bet at this point. You know, they're both hoping that progression is here in Eastern rather than doing Aga.
Which is the fair play. It could be a finishable dungeon. I don't think... like I said, I didn't see where Hitaka died, and I think it was before the boss. I think you're right, it was in the dark room. So we don't know. Could be a Trinex, in which case they wouldn't be able to finish it. Could be Cold Star they wouldn't be able to finish. Argus we wouldn't be able to finish, so there's definitely bosses we can't finish yet. We're still missing a lot of those items that we need.
And Azder does take down Aghanim, so we're going to start checking out some Dark World stuff. I imagine Azder's going to probably head up to Quakefish. But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of options of Dark World. And our other 5/6 crystal was Thieves Town. Skull Woods was Blue Pendant, and it looks like Green Pendant was on Mire.
I'm glad you caught all that, because I missed all of it.
The map.
I caught the right side. It was all... See a bottle there that Azder grabs. That'll not only give him Sick Kit, I think it had a B in it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it did appear to be a B. And Azder's going to head straight for Pod, so...
Yeah, I wonder if Hitaka will do the catfish check.
Yeah, definitely don't want to have both runners kind of heading into the same area if possible.
I mean, there really aren't a whole lot of choices here. The glove gets you access to catfish, and that's it. We don't have a hook shot to cross the river. We don't have a hammer to hit the pegs to go down. So there's a really good chance that progression is going to be right here in Pod. Hitaka, though, is just going to... Oh, he's going to check that Sick Kid right away. I like this. Because he'll be able to go back through that portal. and a bug net, which is probably a little more useful in Randomizer. I'm not a fan of the bug net, but in Randomizer, extra fairies, not a terrible thing to do.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything too harmful yet, but definitely the further we get into these seeds, there's just so many options for the worst possible. As Qirn is in the back of Eastern right now.
Qirn was in the back of Eastern.
Yep.
Unfortunately, taking a death. I also didn't see what got him. But he did get past the dark room.
Yeah, it was a mini Helmasaur. The first room in the basement, though, did have a couple of the Stalfos Knights.
Oof. And there's 2 more. Okay, Hitaka decided to check the shovel, got his piece of heart, and now he'll head back into the dark world. Okay, so Marcnificent going to be the first one into the fight here. Oh, ick. Fighter sword and a Gibdo.
I'm
That's
surprised
not
we're
fun.
not seeing Mark use that red boomerang here, at least to stun it. You know, set up for some nice, easy double spins or something like that.
He does get through it, though. Okay, and Hitaka is going to check Catfish. No, he's going to pot as well. Never mind.
And we've got 2 more Gibdos in the room of 4 Armless Knights.
That is so bad. Hitaka take. Okay, we're going to start seeing things in pod. The Bollox, we'll say this in quotes, the Bollox stuff. Of course, we have all our keys in the front, and that's normal in pod. And another key, so it'll be a bit before we actually see the first item. As per usual, there still has to be 4 keys in the front of pod.
Over on Mark's side, it's a moth in Eastern Palace, so not too bad. Mark is able to take take 1 hit in this fight, but still has to be really careful. Anything to deal with the moth will deal 2 hearts of damage.
And he gets through it. Hitaka's still having trouble getting through pod. See if he does something else. Okay, looks like he's headed towards the mountain. Oh, and there's a hammer in pod. So this becomes full clearable for azder.
Can't reach the boss, unfortunately. Without that bow.
Oh, yeah. This is the one place where the bow is hard required. So we'll be able to clear everything else, although the hammer really doesn't do anything extra.
I think the bigger deal for that hammer is definitely when it comes to Death Mountain at this point.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, Hitaka not able to get in there and get that hammer as well. And now is it the one in Death Mountain. Does rescue the old man. If I were him, I'd go in and get the heal. He says, okay, I know where the hammer is. I gotta go get it.
And this is a very different strategy from Qirn. I have not seen the use of a Samaria block in this fashion. I'm trying to... Somebody did that earlier this week. It might have been Chelsea Exlin. I don't remember for sure. That was doing... that figured out... They didn't have a sword. And they figured out that Samaria worked really well for Moth. When you don't have like a conveyor belt and spikes coming at you. We do get our first crystal on Qirn's side for old Swagga Jackson, striking first. I do expect that once azder finishes up this pod check, he probably does go ahead and do Eastern. Possible. That or we might see azder just go straight for the mountain at that point, you know.
Yeah, maybe, but you're not going to be any closer to Eastern than you are right now. As you're very familiar with low percent strats, although of course in Randomizer a lot of that gets thrown out the window. Plus now he's got 5 container hearts, so he's going to get a. Well, we unless he finds a bow, that's not going to happen. I was thinking he's going to get a full refill. That's absolutely not going to happen because we still don't have that bow, and we still don't have that bow. He's pulling out the mirror.
Meanwhile, Hitaka did take a very, very, very safe route to pod.
Yeah, and he'll know that the only thing he needs to get is that hammer. Azure decides not. Like he wants to head over to Hype Cave. Marcnificent and Qirn finally resigned to the fact that they have to do Aga. That hammer all but confirms it. Again, we still don't know for sure what's in Tower Para. I fully expect Hitaka will probably get his. He might not even get his big key, but the main thing is he's going to get enough small keys to finish the dungeon when the time comes, and pick up the hammer. Okay, only thing I saw was the last 3 checks in Hype Cave. I saw a piece of heart, a container heart, and bombs. The container heart at this point, not something you're going to turn down. Piece of heart, of course. Now, let's see which way he goes now. Probably just going to go ahead and head over to these other south checks. Do Stumpy, the digging game, and do the K45 check because he has the mirror.
Hitaka did grab the hammer and bailed immediately, so not even gonna worry about checking the rest of or clearing out what they need from pod. Gonna wait for that for later. Definitely
yeah, I mean, he needs a big key and a small key, and Azure should be able to tell him where that big key is. It doesn't really matter whether he gets it now or later. I don't think it saves time either way. Azure picking up a sword from Stumpy. That's a nice find. Okay, so now we're going to get Hitaka up in the mountain. With that hammer, he can do more than he could have done before, which is really good.
And of course, the one big surprise here still is in Quakefish.
Nope. It's a slow check. It actually really doesn't surprise me. We'll see if Qirn or Marcnificent. I bet we see it from Qirn and Marcnificent. Qirn especially has been a little bit more thorough on the overall checks.
Yeah,
so if I were to guess, I think Qirn gets sent over there.
Yeah, they've definitely been splitting their checks a lot more frequently.
A piece of heart on the dig game. Azure was about to walk away, decides, you know what, this is Randomizer. Let's check. Let's take this. Extra safety never hurts. Okay. Normally, it doesn't surprise me when runners don't hit that switch to have the extra safety of the heart pots. With 3 hearts and an unknown boss, I would probably hit that switch.
Definitely. Yeah, the big concern here is knowing what a lot we can't do.
Yeah, and there's bosses that technically we could do, but I mean, if this is a Vidi, I'm not sure I'm sticking around if I'm Hitaka. And Vidi has been known to show up here before. See, that's exactly what I'm telling you. It takes 2 hearts of damage from that gold spike, and those heart pots are just. Yeah, we can't do this. No bombos, no fire rod. Hitaka just gonna let himself get killed so he can death warp to the beginning. Might as well, because that gets him the full hearts again. He could have mirrored, but then he just have 1 heart. And Spiral Cave can be really dangerous.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this Randomizer seed is not playing kind with our runners across the board. Recently, Mark did take a death in Aga Tower. I think that might have been a second one. So this has
that's
been
really rough.
rough.
Okay, Azure meanwhile is in the village of Outcasts. I'm paying so much attention to what Hitaka's doing. Oh, hey, look, a fire rod. That's a really horrible spot for a fire rod. Fire rod sitting, and can't get that until we have some mitts. Also, I love how those little swords that you normally find in not Skullwoods, in the forest, just sit there, just in random places as. Okay, Qirn gonna go into pod. He'll probably full clear it, get his hammer. Marcnificent will probably just get the hammer. C-Safe shot with some bombs. I didn't see. Spiral Cave looked like it was arrows or something. It was nothing.
Yeah, and it does look like Azder's gonna check out at least the front, possibly try to full clear Thieves Town.
Thieves Town is very weird in Randomizer, because just like normal, you're gonna have a big key and 3 combined dungeon and regular items in the front. The back you can just skip, even if it's blind. Even if the fight is blind, you can still skip it. Oh, and Wall Masters, oof. Because it does not require you to go up and bomb out the floor and then go get the maiden. Randomizer, none of that stuff is required. So, depending on the number of items in the front, you might just do the boss, or you might check the back. It almost becomes like doing Pendant Thieves. As you know, in Pendant Thieves, in a regular seed, typically, almost everybody will check the front, and then it's like, do I really want to go to the back? You know, it's kind of the same thing.
And I don't believe we found anything on East Death Mountain there.
We found nothing. There was nothing there. Front of Thieves, not having a whole lot. We did get a map. I don't know if we got a compass. We did not get the small key. So there are items in the back.
Yeah, I did see a single rupee in the front of Thieves, so.
Oof.
Yeah.
So there's at least 2 items in the back? I'm gonna guess it's 2 items. I did see one of map or compass. I have a tendency to just lump them together and forget which is which. Looks like Azder's not gonna go straight for the boss. Looks like he's gonna full clear.
Yeah, I think given what we've seen from Hitaka at this point with the mountain, there's not a ton of checks besides, I believe, the front of Full Woods and Graveyard Ledge.
Yep.
So very reasonable to assume that progression is going to be here in the back of Thieves.
Yeah, Hitaka getting his goodies out of Hype Cave.
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, Azder has a ton of hearts by comparison at this point.
I know. So. Which is a shame for that team, because Azder's the low percent runner, and he's a previous world record holder in that category. Doomtap having taken it recently. Hitaka, a very good runner in his own right, but definitely not as well versed in low percent strats. So it's a little unfortunate that he's the one with the low heart count. Okay, Qirn has his hammer. Mark will go ahead in and get his hammer as well.
Yeah, we did get a second shield out of the attic.
Which, you know, for Randomizer, not a bad pickup, especially if what I hear is true. I still haven't gotten a real confirmation of this, but apparently all the shields lag the same. So once you have a shield, you just have a shield and it lags.
Yes, I have heard that as the recent new discussion about shield lag, so.
I mean, personally, I'm a big fan of the fire shield because the mirror shield is a few places I really like to have it. But for the most part, the fire shield does a really good job at protection. Oh, Azder.
And that's a rough.
Doesn't quite make it. He tries to get to that cape. Didn't quite get to it. He's gonna head right back in.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing you always have to remember about cape in this game is there's actually a few extra. There's some lag to when you equip it to when you can actually turn it on.
Okay, Qirn taking a death, but that might have... I didn't see where it was. Might have been a death warp. No, maybe not.
Yeah, unfortunately, Qirn was down to, I believe, a single heart clearing that rupee basement. So.
Oh, okay. Man, rollers and chain chomps in that first room. That's just wrong. Okay, Hitaka gonna check out Skull Woods. He knows he won't get his fire rod for a while, so
and there's our second cold stare in Thieves Town.
Ugh, can't do that. So Thieves Town and Hera both locked by mitts because that fire rod. Okay, Bombos is possible. We could see Bombos show up. Oof, and Qirn taking another death. This seed has just not been kind. All our runners have. I think that was Azder's first death, but everyone else has taken multiple deaths, if I'm not mistaken. There's another one for Hitaka. Although that one's not in a bad spot because like he just walked into the dungeon. Oh, a hook shot.
That's why
That's why. Yeah, you need that hook shot.
Hitaka's tracker, and I was like, "What change?
What a horrible spot for that hook shot." Azder did a very good job of getting it right before the roller got him and mirroring right on out.
And unfortunately, that really doesn't give us much yet.
Does it give us anything? Because we can't get into Swamp Palace. We already have access to East Death Mountain, which was nothing anyway. And oh, hey, boots! That gives us access to stuff.
Yeah, that is big time something.
Yeah, I suspect Hitaka is going to leave fairly quickly out of here and go pick up those boots as well.
Yeah, and there was our second item out of Skull Woods, just a piece of heart there.
Yeah, a little unfortunate Qirn and Marcnificent trying to check out the rest of Pod. They got the stuff. They got what's important out of there already. But they don't know that.
As Azder's gonna check the lumberjack item. And Azder's heading back to Eastern area?
Well, they still haven't finished up Eastern. Still can't finish Pod. But he can do Eastern.
Meanwhile, Hitaka is going to make those boots checks. And there's the flippers out of Bonk Rock, so that means we have Swamp Palace access.
We do, so I wonder if Hitaka will head that way. I'll probably check King's Tomb first.
Yeah, Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb are definitely two that can be easily orphaned for a long time if we don't, if our runners kind of shy away from it.
Yeah, but especially if mitts are late.
Yeah, given we just got those boots and we were right there, easy choice to kind of at least come and check this out.
And an ether, which we may or may not need. Always fun when you find medallions before you have mitts and you have no idea what medallions you need. Yeah, might need them, might not.
Yeah, and
Bombos would have been nice because then you could do the cold stare fights, but you know.
I don't know. Do you want to see Bombos right now, knowing that there are a couple of bosses that you could kill with it, and that kind of forces you back to those?
It doesn't force you yet. But it is a reasonable thing to think about.
But King's Tomb was nothing, just 20 rupees. So I think at this point we're going to see Hitaka head towards Swamp Palace. The cape, we've had that for just about the whole seed, it's felt like. Was that
Cape was in
Saha
well because
Shul's
yeah, it was in Saha, and Qirn I think was the one that checked that super early, so we've known about that cape for a while. And that cape being Cape giving us both AGA access. I don't, there was no other sword available, as well as giving us access to those boots. And yeah, Hitaka is going to go ahead and do Swamp Palace. Azure going to go ahead and do Eastern, and deal with these rooms. It's going to be a little bit easier for him, potentially, just because he has a Master Sword, whereas the runners on the old Swagga Jackson side, oh, a nice fairy drop. They were only on a Fighter Sword when they did this. And unfortunately, the only medallion Azure has is that Quake. And Gibdo's Ether, really good for Gibdos. Bombos, really good for Gibdos. As I found out once, much to as I found out the hard way once, Quake does not work on Gibdos. Does not help you.
Yeah, unfortunately, Quake is roughly the least valuable medallion in this game.
In general, it's really good in Ice Palace for Pen Gators. And that's about it. And Azure shouldn't have too much trouble with this moth fight with a Master Sword and no spikes, no conveyor belt. It's actually kind of a interesting contrast the way Eastern Palace laid out with all those difficult enemies just to get here, and then you get moth, and yeah, just gets 300 rupees.
But that is the first crystal for Shacktool's team in this race. So I would say, there's definitely an advantage to what that team has been able to check. But in terms of dungeon clears, playing a slower game in some regards.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is now that they know what the boss is and what's on the boss, when Hitaka does this, he won't do this until he's doing pod and finishing up pod. There's absolutely no reason for him to do that anytime earlier. And I don't think we found anything at Swamp Palace yet. Marcnificent finding the crap that is in Paradox Cave and East Death Mountain. And the fire rod that's sitting there teasing.
Now, azder is skipping out on Ether for now.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, kind of hoping. Unfortunately, there's no way for us to know how important that.
Well, here's the thing:
is at least until we get the mitts.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. The Ether medallion doesn't come into play until you have mitts. But if you have mitts, you don't have. You can just save and quit to Sanctuary and just get it right then and there.
That was in Graveyard Ledge, so unfortunately we would.
Oh, was it Graveyard Ledge?
Yeah.
Oh, it was okay. Never mind. I was thinking it was at the King's Tomb.
Yeah, unfortunately, King's Tomb was a.
King's Tomb was I knew one was good and one was not, or one had something and one didn't. I should say, because like we said, we don't know if that Ether will be important. And yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Hitaka knows how to do the diver down strats from the right side, and thus can do this particular version of the diver down to do the left side of Swamp. Azure as a vanilla runner does the other diver down strat where you do it from the left side, which means you can't do it for here and has not learned that strat yet. So we'll only go to the left side if Hitaka finds something here.
But at this point, they are kind of following each other again, just knowing this is all we have left.
I mean, the seed has been kind of linear.
Yeah, the only other thing I believe we have at this point is Blind Cell.
Yeah, we haven't seen. Yeah, Azure died before he could do all the checks in Thieves Town. And did we get a catfish check on Old Swagga side? I know we have it on Shacktool side. Looks like left side is nothing, so Azure will be able to skip it. Hitaka heading to the back. A lot of vanilla enemies here, actually. Marcnificent fortunately picked up that hook shot before the roller got him. Oh, that fire bar is in a horrible spot.
And yeah, we did get it looks like both Hitaka and azder were able to get a bow out of
Oh, I missed that.
yeah,
Was it
the
compass check?
U-turn room.
Yeah, the compass room. Same thing. I like that name. I've never heard that before.
There's not a great way to describe that room always, and I don't know what's in every room usually.
Okay. Oh my god, it's a mimic as well. Wow. Fortunately, we have a bow now. Okay, so you'll notice Azure does this on the left side, which is typical for runners that play the vanilla game. Yeah, I think you still need to put it in the same spot. Yeah, there you go. There you go. A little bit easier because the fire bar is going to be away from him. A lot of bombs. We're going to get Landmo because we didn't see anything right away. Nothing good to kill him with other than our fighter sword. Or, sorry, our master sword. Still better than the standard NMG fight. Except, you know, actually, I mean, he could use bow. And Azure might use bow because he's familiar with those NMG strats.
Yeah, the only thing here is the real benefit of Master Sword is only in the spins. Master Sword slashes are actually equivalent to Fighter Sword.
Yep.
But we are seeing Hitaka break out that hammer, so a different, much better weapon for sure, only for the bad.
In terms of damage, yeah, a much better weapon. In terms of hitbox, a much worse weapon. We just see a container heart there, though. Yeah, Azure going to break out that bow since he has it. Gets a few shots in there. It's definitely trying to do this with the bow if you're not practicing it is very, very difficult.
Yeah, this is in a typical NMG run. Landmo is definitely one of those first barrier fights to really learn and get down.
I like how Hitaka grabbed that piece of heart there, sitting there in the dam. Okay, and we got double Swamp Palace clears for Azure and Hitaka. And with that bow, Hitaka gonna head straight back to pod. We'll finish this out. We'll see if Azure does the same. It's not a... God, where is our progression at this point? I mean, back of Thieves? The parts that we didn't quite see with Azure dying there?
Yeah, unfortunately, we are really down to either the back of pod or the back of Thieves.
In the back of pod is just one item.
And I don't know if did we see all of our flipper checks? I don't remember if
I don't
think flippering.
Yeah, Qirn I thought did a whole lot of that. Might have even done Zora. As you're gonna check out the hobo, I don't think we've seen this yet, at least. I know we saw Lake Hylia Island. There was nothing there because I believe it was Qirn that jumped down. Okay, we got money from the hobo. And the hobo is just, he's there because he wants to be there. He's apparently a rich hobo. Because he can give away 300 rupees.
And Drosy confirming that, yes, the Qirn did not have that moon pearl, so
right.
These items. And there we go. Those are our waterfall items, a heart container, and a 20 rupee.
So nothing.
And here comes that Quakefish check on Azder's side.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Pod will be quicker for him.
Yeah, unfortunately at this point, you're kind of scraping for something.
Yeah, and with flippers and mirror, he can just check all the stuff at once. And we're going to turn in a mushroom. And maybe buy a potion. Because you're right there. You can do the mirror trick where you put the mirror pearl just the right spot so that you can get bonked back over there. Once you go... Oh, silvers. Well, that's nice. Okay, is there something? There must have been something else in pod because Hitaka is not going straight to the back.
I know Hitaka still needs that big
Oh,
key.
that's the big key. Okay, the big key was in a bad spot. Not the worst spot because Dark Maze is worse, but yeah, that's a pretty bad spot. I don't remember what was in this rupee basement, but he's gonna get something out of it.
I think it's just for a small key at this point. Yep.
Okay, yeah, he needs one more small key and decides to get 2 small keys. Okay, his Marcnificent is gonna head into Swamp Palace, so he'll get his bow. Still on Fighter Sword. Qirn on Master Sword, so they know where that is. Wow, this Zora area, all those Gynoxes. Oh my god.
Yeah, unfortunately, Zora area is notoriously laggy in Randomizer. Just so
It's
many
laggy
things.
enough normally.
Yeah.
There are just some locations in this game. Another one being the area in Thieves Town right before you go through the big key door is really laggy normally, and just you get enough enemies in there, it's just slows to a absolute slow crawl. Okay, azder fluting to, where are we fluting to? Looks like pod. Yeah, looks like he's gonna just go ahead and do pod. But I have a feeling that we're gonna be getting over to the back of Thieves sooner rather than later. And Qirn in Thieves Town right now, but only on 2 hearts.
Yeah, unfortunately, this Qirn is also low on magic, having to really use that to get through some of these rooms.
It gets that shield that azder already got. We'll see if we can get more information on this Thieves Town area. Hitaka might be the player on. Oh, hey, we can do this. And the sad part is, of course, is azder that has the silvers that would make this a very easy fight.
Luckily, with Master Sword and Cape, we're going to get some.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Nice, yeah, this will be at least a pretty good setup for Hitaka.
Yeah, he can use the bow to finish off that one little eyeball, and then the 8 quick shots on the big one, and he'll be done. And we'll see if he goes back into East. I gotta believe he goes back into Eastern now, and then whoever finishes out of here first probably has to head over to the back of Thieves Town. Looks like we might get some information over here on Qirn's side. Still has just those 2 hearts. It's just the small key to get us to the big chest to make it make us wait a little bit longer.
But I think we know this has to be something at this point.
I think it has to be. I mean, it's probably gonna be vanilla. Yeah, I mean, it had to be. That if azder doesn't take that death, that would have been so big for them. But I gotta believe that's where they head next. I can't think of anywhere else they haven't gone. But yeah, so much gated by those myths. 3 dungeons, really, because you can't finish Skullwoods ever without a fire rod. And of course, we have a cold stare and we've seen a couple of cold stares that we haven't been able to fight. And yeah, Hitaka is going to go ahead and do Eastern now. azder going to have a really easy Vidi fight, so it may be that he heads over to Thieves Town. Unless there's some other location that I am not thinking of.
I don't think there's anything. I really think we've seen everything from possible at this point, so.
Yeah.
I mean, on the plus side, that is the 3rd crystal for azder. Hitaka is about to get a third crystal as well. So in terms of the crystal count, you know, definitely in better shape than
Yep.
Qirn and Marcnificent, but
Yep. And actually, I'm going to say, unless there's a book somewhere that we missed, actually all 4 of the dungeons that we have left, they're all gated. Azure hasn't done Ice Rod Cave. So he'll do that quickly and find out it's nothing. Still a little bit quicker check than going over to Thieves Town would be, so no reason not to do it first.
yeah, definitely leaving these kinds of checks for a while. You worry yourself going, was this a mistake? Okay, it wasn't.
Okay, pulls out that flute. I gotta expect we'll see a flute 3.
Meanwhile, Qirn is our first runner onto Dark Death Mountain in Super Bunny now.
Okay, where? Oh, Spike Cave? Spike Cave.
So we did get a third sword out of Super Bunny.
Oh, that'll be nice. Everybody will be happy to be on a tempered sword. We did see some matches earlier today with Ice Trinex. And a couple of them had only Master Sword, so pretty nasty stuff. Oh, Asher's gonna just go ahead and do... He can't do Hera. He can do the basement. That's about it. Okay, Hitaka is gonna head over towards Thieves Town.
Yeah, and we did see that TR entrance was Quake.
Okay, so... Yeah, Hitaka gonna head over towards Thieves Town. Azure gonna do what he can of... Which isn't much. I mean, he can basically do the basement. The basement could have something, because I don't know that we saw the second item here. And he's going to finish this up before Hitaka gets to those mitts. Okay. Qirn going to go ahead and pick up that fire rod. I did not see if he got anything in Hookshot Cave.
A heart container, but really not much.
Okay, I see why Hitaka's doing the Thieves Town play. Picked up that mushroom so he can get his silvers. And that puts him right in front of Thieves Town. So I like that call from these two. We are still missing an ice rod, which we may or may not need, depending on whether there's a Trinex in our future. It could be here. So it could also be a Bombos, which would also open up things in terms of... It would actually make some of the cold stare fights. I think especially the one on Tower of Hera, I think that makes it a little bit easier to just use the... But just a piece of heart. And Qirn going to go ahead and open up Turtle Rock.
And Azder is going to check Spike Cave, so this is one thing we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this call as well.
I am concerned about the amount of health Azder has for this, though.
Yeah, this is not good. He's not going to make it. Hitaka going to get to the important thing, those mitts. Oh my god, this room. This room is so bad. But Hitaka just going to go down to the basement. No reason to check the attic. It's just that fire shield. And I'm of the opinion that if the shield is free, go ahead and take it. But if you have to go that far out of the way, yeah, just don't bother. Lag or no lag. Okay, so Hitaka going to get to that mitt, those mitts very, very soon. I think Azur's waiting to find out what Hitaka gets. Okay, Qirn looks like he took a death in Turtle Rock. Again,
And
don't know
chat
where.
confirming for us that we actually have both rods. Qirn found
Yeah,
the
it was.
right rod.
It was here in Turtle Rock. I think it was the first check. I saw it. It looked kind of funny, but Randomizer does weird things to pallets. So my guess. So Marcnificent gets his mitts. So does that put us in no mode? Not quite, because we don't know the. We don't. Yeah. In fact, Hitaka's going to tell us right now whether we're in no mode or not.
Actually, we are in no mode given.
Oh, it's a
where's the
pendant
pen?
anyway.
Yeah, so
We are in no mode. Curious what this is. It is Quake. And we're not going to need that ether, so Azure not going back over to Graveyard Ledge is going to work out well for them. And a tempered sword for Hitaka over there at the Mire Shed.
So it's very reasonable to. I think everybody will likely end up with Butter Sword for this run.
Yeah, because they still have to do Desert. In fact, I think that's what Hitaka's going to do right now. Azure probably going to go do the mountain after Hitaka finishes up with Desert. Hopefully not going to run into a Trinex in Desert because he won't be able to do it.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this move, knowing that Fire Rod is on the mountain. You know, why not prioritize that, especially given Desert can have fire bosses.
Yep.
You know, we won't see another Cold Stare.
No,
but...
we've seen 2 already. And actually, we should talk about that. We haven't talked about the way the bosses work. So this is full boss shuffle, which means every boss is going to show up once and 3 are going to show up twice, as opposed to simple, which means that the 3 light world bosses are always going to be the ones that show up twice. Or the random or chaotic, I think was what they used to call it, boss shuffle, where just anything goes.
Yeah, and within those, you know, within the full shuffle, there are still a few rules to certain bosses and certain rooms. So we talked about it earlier. Trinex will not happen inside of Hera and many other rooms.
Yep.
Among others.
Okay, Hitaka picks up some red mail over in Desert, so that's nice. Definitely a good safety to have in an Randomizer seed. As you're going to do Smiths, oh, this surprises me. I'm really surprised that neither one of these guys is prioritizing the mountain. I can see one of them not doing it, but I'm a little surprised they're both. Again, because like you said, that Fire Rod, they know it's there. Half magic in the big chest. So, Desert with nothing required, but a couple of really nice items there. Azure, what is your plan? Okay, your plan is to go to the mountain. That is a good plan.
And there's one of those bad enemies we see in Turtle Rock for Qirn, like on the bridge.
Those yellow spikes just like to show up in bad places. So Azure can get his tempered sword in Super Bunny. And we're about to find out what the boss is at Desert. And we see an Argus in TR.
And that could mean Hitaka's about to run into a Trinox, unfortunately.
Well, even without the Argus there, it could have meant that, so...
True.
But nope, just some Armos Knights. So, Check Tool's dodging that bullet.
And unfortunately for Hitaka, hadn't yet turned in that mushroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a huge difference, though, with Armos Knights. Okay, so Desert, like I said, has some nice safeties. That Stalfos in Hookshot Cave. You don't see that all the time. Only an Randomizer. Okay, no wonder I didn't know it was on Hookshot Cave. It was nothing. Because it had been something, chat would have gone nuts. Instead, it was a whole lot of money. Okay, Hitaka going to get his silver arrows. Azder can get his fire rod, and I bet he goes into Turtle Rock as well.
And unfortunately for Qirn and Marcnificent, Mark already has the bow, and Qirn knows where that bow is, and is not going to check the mushroom.
Yeah, they might check it if they're. I mean, Qirn, I could see checking it if he decides to go buy potions, which is always a good choice in Randomizer. But yeah, I don't think there's any other reason to.
Qirn was just at Potion Shop,
and he didn't. Okay.
It. Yeah. So Qirn is playing this as go mode and knows where that bow is and says, "I can clear everything."
Yep. I mean, that's a fair thing to do.
Exactly.
Silvers, make a small difference on the Ganon fight, make larger differences on bosses like Vidi, which they haven't faced yet, since we know that is the pod boss. And I suspect Marcnificent isn't even going to ever pick up that mushroom at this point. As they're heading into Turtle Rock, they're going to be in go mode shortly. A little surprised Hitaka doesn't pick up that gold sword. I think it's worth it in Randomizer a lot more so than in regular modes.
Well, I think this comes down to for Hitaka at least being able to know that they're able to open up TR, so do this, then head over to Super Bunny probably.
Yeah, he could do that. Okay, where was that ice rod? I thought it was in the first check at Turtle Rock, but okay, it's lit up now. Our trackers, the tracker's often notorious a little bit slow. And again, shout outs to Drossi and Yoinkers Roy for doing the tracking. Can't say enough about our trackers, other than we absolutely need them.
Exactly. We are not always the quickest on the ball here.
No.
How they are able to see everything as it happens.
Yeah, watching four screens at once is difficult normally, but when people are skipping things, yeah, the co-op bows get pretty crazy pretty quickly. Yeah, Hitaka can grab just the container heart out of the hookshot cave, and then he'll get his fire rod. But yeah, all the runners now in go mode. Just a 7 crystal to 4 lead for Shacktool's dig game. That's going to be a lot for Qirn and Marcnificent to catch up on.
Yeah, and we are completely in go mode at this point, so. And we didn't notice it or talk about it too much on Qirn's side, but that dark maze of TR is pretty brutal. We got a few rollers in there.
Yeah, that's the nasty one.
And there's the ice rod for Hitaka after also getting fire rods, so Hitaka is now also in go mode.
Yeah, as somebody put it in chat in one of the previous races, Randomizer making hard rooms easy and easy rooms impossible. So, can you imagine doing? Yeah, this we talk about lamp not required in a lot of situations. I'm gonna call this seed lamp required for that room alone.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things when you go into this kind of setting. How much are you willing to experiment without a lamp?
I know, right? I mean, I consider that room a pretty easy one without the lamp. You just need to know when to change directions, really. But put a roller in there instead of some fire bars, yeah.
And unfortunately, Marcnificent is leaving TR. Just wasn't able to get the magic required to make another shot at the back of TR.
Yeah, that's rough. He's gonna buy some potions here, and doesn't have that mushroom, so the opportunity is not there for him to get those silvers, even if we thought he would.
Yeah, and azder also kind of having a little bit of difficulty here, but luckily Cape lasted long enough to get through all that.
Yep.
And then hitting up that full magic pot on the right side of the dark maze.
And face plants the yellow spike. Oh, God.
And for Hitaka, this won't be an issue. Hitaka has half magic.
Hitaka has half magic, and he's got red mail. Azder on green mail. While Marcnificent and Qirn are splitting the difference on blue. I forget where the first mail upgrade is. I know the second one's in desert. Azder's all ready for a Trinex. Of course, it's not going to be Trinex. That could be partially muscle memory, but you know, at this point we haven't seen one yet, so the odds were in that favor.
Yeah, definitely a good midpoint in terms of the menuing. Well, I must say I'm kind of surprised we've not seen much quick swap.
Well, Azder doesn't even use it. The others I believe everybody else does, but yeah, you're right. We haven't seen a lot of it. My feeling on quick swap, especially if you're really good at menuing already, using quick swap, I don't think necessarily helps you. At least not in the short term. In the long term, once you get used to it, it probably would help you. If you're bad at menuing, just do quick swap. You can be bad at quick swap or bad at menuing.
It's kind of ironic. Right as I was starting to think, oh, I need to start lowering my menu time, quick swap came out, and I was like, well, that goes down the drain.
Yep.
Good skill. I don't need it.
You know, I could almost hear the conversation Hitaka and Azder be like, "What you know, Azder? I didn't tell you about that spike ball there." Fortunately, he also didn't tell Hitaka which chest had the small key that was needed. Okay, Marcnificent gonna do the Armos Knights over here in desert. And Qirn finishing up Thieves Town with that fire rod. I wonder where that Bombos is.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of places we're really not going to see on this one.
We're not going to see any of the Smith chain. And then we'll see how much a GT we get. Okay, Azder going to go ahead and do desert.
Yep, Azder is going to pick up the half magic out of the big chest.
Yeah, he is. I actually... It might not have been a bad idea for him to even pick up the blue mail. But chooses not to. I think the half magic, though, is a little more valuable. Especially for a runner like Azder.
And
having that extra magic in case Trinex comes in a bad spot, or you know, just for the Ganon fight.
Seeing some of the benefit on Shaktool's side here, where they got go mode a little bit later, so Hitaka was able to find half magic, Azder was able to find silver arrows.
Yeah.
So, and you're seeing that on the opposite side for Mark and Qirn. We're not going to see silver arrows. Marcnificent even didn't check the big chest, so no half magic.
Yeah, and you know they're go-moding it. I don't blame them. They know they're up against a tough opponent. It's probably the right call for them to not check those things. That just unfortunately those are some luxuries that would have been very nice. And Hitaka does decide to pick up that gold sword. I do like that choice. In particular, and you know, I am just having seen those Ice Armos fights in previous matches today. That gold sword will make it a lot. Those were really rough fights. So having that gold sword is going to help him out. Azder did not pick up the gold sword though, so maybe a little more confident. He could have picked it up at Meyer Shed if he wanted to.
Yeah, unfortunately, that ice arena for Armos 2, you put a boss there and it really becomes a problem. Okay, so Azder gets his 5th
crystal. We'll head over to Thieves Town next because he will no doubt do the Hera into GT last, which is always the dream. So rare you get to do that in a regular seed, but you get to do it quite a bit in things like co-op and
azder is going to pick up that gold sword as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. And I don't think Mark and Qirn are going to get that because, again, not in go mode or already in go mode when they got into this area. And question: Did Hitaka not finish up Turtle Rock?
I thought Hitaka did, but I did miss the boss fight.
Yeah, I know I did too.
We're just melting that cold stare there.
Yeah, Gold Sword is really good on Cold Stare. I mean, to be fair, if he chose not to do, if he died in Turtle Rock and didn't get there, there's no reason to necessarily go right back in if you're going to end up back at the beginning, because he can just do it right before he goes into GT. Azure, again, going to do Thieves Town, and then we'll head over to Tower of Hera. Okay, we'll see where Hitaka goes, because and both of them have to do Hera, so. Now, someone in chat saying they saw 6 crystals, which would mean he's done Turtle Rock.
But Marcnificent and Qirn are going through pod now for their 5th crystal. 6th crystal for Qirn, 5th crystal for Marcnificent.
Right, because Marcnificent hasn't finished up Turtle Rock yet. Okay, Hitaka heading over towards GT and Hera. Gonna do Hera first. Obviously, he has to do Hera first. Mirror's in front, so yeah, so definitely has done Turtle Rock. As you're just a little bit behind. They may actually be, this is probably about the separation you might want for the GT big key search. Looks like Hitaka's just going to go ahead and set up the Hera pot, which will be, if you can do this fast, definitely going to save time.
Yeah, a lot of different ways to set up this, the Hera pot.
Yeah, and Qirn, yeah, this is where, again, neither Qirn nor Marcnificent is going to have those silver arrows for the Vidi fight. Now, granted, with the Tempered Sword, Cape, I mean, this won't be too difficult for either one of them. Mark doing the fun strat of running through the eyeballs with the cape, unfortunately runs out of magic doing so.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of been the big story on Mark's side in this race, is just not able to hold on to magic too much. So hopefully gonna hit potion shop after this.
And it looks like, yeah, Hitaka's looks like he's going to be the first one to... No, wait, Yeah, Hitaka's going to be the first one into this last Cold Stare fight. And we won't see Cold Stare in GT since this is our second Cold Stare. And so we won't have a whole lot of time to get your guesses in. For the big key guessing. Oh, well, Jurassi's already started. I actually think that's a really good call because there's not going to be a whole lot of time. And unless something strange happens here, I mean... Okay, Hitaka makes very quick work. So it will be Hitaka that will go off of. I can't even see what he just got as an item there. I have no idea what he just picked up.
I think we got both items, so it had to probably be the map, I believe.
Okay. That's fair enough. That was a very weird looking map, though. Hitaka not going to be into GT much ahead of azder, though, so we'll see if one goes right and one goes left. But as per usual, we go with the first runner in. Hitaka going to start it out by going to the right.
Oprim's not a bad first choice ever.
Is going to be forced back to the left. Just some rupees there. So we'll see if azder steals the key and goes to the right side. Or if maybe Hitaka will steal the key and go to the right side. Yeah, I would take that heart container. Hitaka, I think that gives him the full top row. Just now, azder with 12 hearts. Azder with 12 hearts says, I don't need that container heart, even though he's the one on green mail.
12 hearts green mail? I mean, that's, you know, more than you get in a lot of seeds. Or,
yeah, it is.
Or at least it's better than you see in most harder expert seeds.
Okay, both into the Stalfos room. I'll see if they both continue on left. So we've gone through 7 checks on Hitaka's side. Yeah, really surprised they're not splitting this up more. But it's going to work out for them. So 8 will be. And 8 won't be, because Hitaka's going to skip 8, because azder found it to be nothing.
And there's a good chance that Hitaka will skip 9 as well.
Yeah. Well, he has to at least make the chest appear. But yeah, if there's nothing in it, he may not grab that either. Oh, these rooms are just horrible. Okay, that was number 8. Nine, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, an extra bottle.
I'm very curious about the doubling of the checks. In
Yeah,
some regards here.
this in particular surprises me, especially since I mean, you want to avoid the boss fight if you can. So I mean, even if you were to have one of the mirror out right now to go to the right side, to potentially avoid this next fight. Check for her tackle will be number 13. I guess it'll be number 13 because azder just picked it up and mirrored on out. Okay, Hitaka, don't get grabbed by the... Okay, there we go. So unless someone counted better and I'm wrong, I'm calling that 13. And if there's an ice Armo sitting there, sorry, if there's an ice Trinex sitting there, we'll never know. Well, we might find out. Actually, there could be 2 of them in GT, so we'll never know. We've only seen 1 double boss so far.
Meanwhile, azder is into the gauntlet. You'll usually see pretty consistent enemies based on that first room, so we are getting we're getting crabs under the pots. That's
That's always fun. And that gold sword is really nice for the buzz blobs. Is that what they're called? The green guys, the little pickle guys.
I am not sure. I would go with pickles usually. So
hey, that works for me. I know that's not the official name, but it's definitely a fun name. But in any case, the gold sword, you don't get electrocuted from them, so very nice to not have to worry about that. Okay, azder going to show us what this next boss is going to be.
It's a Trinex.
Oh, baby. You know he had to show up at some point. I bet they're real glad they picked up that gold sword now. Didn't quite finish off that second head.
Yeah, unfortunately, the shooter head in the bottom left corner just makes it a lot more difficult for
It really does.
bosses to go as smooth as they normally do. And unfortunately, everybody's favorite room in GT will not be as satisfying.
I know. It's only actually looks like I could have totally done the normal stress on that one. Totally could have pulled out that Cane of Samaria, but yeah, a little sad that you don't get to use it there. And Marcnificent in that cold stare fight in the Tower of Hera, showing the difference between the tempered sword that he has and the gold sword that the Shaktul side has.
Yeah, old Swagga Jackson's team definitely gained some ground from where they were in terms of a crystal count.
Sure.
But unfortunately, just by merit of having been able to skip a lot of checks. But at the same time, you're seeing the advantage of the equipment now.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of that yellow spike ball in this particular room that azder just got out of a lot. Marcnificent going to be heading into GT now.
And that is a very fortuitous powder at the top of GT.
If we have a anti-fairy somewhere, it's actually in this. Well, we get the bunny beam at least, so
yeah,
we
bunny
can't
beam
get
is guaranteed. So
bunny beam we get. Probably not. Maybe we see an anti-fairy. Maybe we don't. Hitaka also going to grab that powder for the same reason, and we get a multi-eyed, mostly vanilla Moldorm. Not completely, because we do have a few extra eyeballs there, as happens in Randomizer.
Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see, probably my favorite of the bosses, or at least favorite variation. We're not going to get to possibly see a Helmicopter.
Yeah, no Helmasaur today. Yeah, there was a couple of Helmicopters earlier today. Those are funny. But I do believe that the particular seed that the Helmicopter showed up forced them to do that with bombs. So not fun. Not fun for us viewers, not fun for the runners.
Yeah, you kind of don't realize every boss in Skullwoods is bad.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and these Aga patterns have not been very good for Hitaka and azder. These are two great runners, and it's bad when some of these fights are going as long as they are.
Yeah. Okay, and we get the funny-looking bat, or funny-looking. Sorry, the fucking funny-looking bird, or duck. No, sorry, it's the bat that makes the hole and the duck that carries you. It's a really weird-looking bat. Okay, azder in really good health here, and of course the Ganon fight is no different in Randomizer than it is in any other.
Yeah, so this is just old hat for azder at this point. And, you know, definitely luxury to have silvers and butter in this fight.
Yeah, to be fair, he played in the 0-0 fast Ganon yesterday and did this fight 3 hearts, Master Sword, Lamp, and that was about all he had. So this is now a luxury to have a gold sword and, you know, and have a hook shot for iframes, silver arrows, you know, all the goodies. Doesn't get the torch glitch, but who cares in this with this equipment? And that's a dead Ganon.
Very nicely done there at the end. And with that, azder will cross that bridge and be able to finish off this seed.
With an official race time of 1:30:13, so GG's to azder. Hitaka finishing up Ganon shortly thereafter. And he'll cross that bridge, and he will finish with an official race time of 1:30:35. So very nicely done by Shaktul's Digging Game, taking the win here and one step closer to clinching that division. I don't believe that they have it quite yet, but looking pretty good for them.
Yeah, that will put them in a points tie for the lead in the division, but with a game to play.
Yeah.
As we talked about earlier, WJPDTB is currently done their regular season at 30 points, so this will put them in a tie.
Yeah. So right now, let me think about this for a second. Actually. Let me think about this. So, Did You Check Your Boot lost their match previously. Apologies if anybody was going to go back and watch the end of that. It was a pretty good match from when I left it to commentate this one. But that leaves them at 24 points with 1 game to go, so they cannot catch Shaktul because, yes, they would need 2 games to win. So I believe that does clinch the division. Because Shaktul's did 2-0 WJPDTB, so that should put Shaktul in the division lead for good.
Yeah, and that's a big deal, you know, as we're heading towards the playoffs. First place in the division, they get a bye week if I'm not mistaken.
They get a bye week, so that'll be a nice to get to wait and watch while their opponents play it out. And I do believe we have both members of Shaktul's Digging Game in with us. GG's, boys.
Hey, thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, and looks like Qirn is close to finishing his Ganon fight, so let's go ahead and watch that. While Marcnificent going through, about to hit the gauntlet on 1.5 hearts. That's gonna be rough.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Marcnificent was on the Trinex fight, but had run out of magic.
Oof. Yeah, that half magic they did not pick up. But Qirn already in phase 3. And Qirn finding out the arrows were in the light world, which for them, I think, leaves quite a bit of places. And he'll have to do a silverless fight here, because no silver arrows. No half magic, no silver arrows. Definitely makes this a lot harder. Okay, down to 3 hearts, but this part you're not likely to get hit if you know what you're doing.
Getting a nice triple there as well, but having to switch to the lamp at this point, running low on magic.
Yeah, I think it's smart at this point. I think he might only have 1 fire rod shot left. Yeah, he has quite a few lamps left. All right, finishes off Ganon. And Qirn will cross that bridge with an official race time of 1:34:58. So GG's to Qirn, and we do welcome in our runners from Shack Tools Digging Game. So I guess my big question for you guys is, there were a lot of times you were doing the same stuff. Actually, the time that surprised me the most was probably in the GT Big Key. So you want to talk about some of your strategy for doing that?
Well, we just ended up there at the same time. Hitaka was a little bit ahead of me, so I just figure go to compass room, cover the right side, and then we just both do full left. Because like if one person's covered compass room already, there's no reason for both people to not go full left.
Mm-hmm.
But there were no keys in Hope Room, so.
Yeah. So was the plan, Hitaka, if you'd found a key, to keep going right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh wait, did you not actually get all the way to compass room?
No, I said there were no keys in Hope Room.
Oh.
And I said, should we do DM strats? That's why I asked if we should do DM strats. And you said no, and I thought, well, okay.
I don't think I understood why you were asking the question.
Oh gosh. Well,
I just assumed there was nothing in compass.
Well, I'm gonna assume there was nothing in compass room because you got everything you needed. But yeah, there was a little bit of that in general where you guys were kind of in the same place. But one of the big advantages is you just in general were able to cover more stuff. Marcnificent Qirn got into go mode a little bit sooner because they went straight to the mountain. You'd already done more dungeons already, but they went straight to the mountain once they got those mitts. Got to them a little bit sooner than you did and got their fire rod and ice rod. And then never got a gold sword, never got silver arrows, never got half magic. All those little extras that you guys got, they helped you. I think you guys still had the advantage, but it just gave you a little extra edge.
Yeah, Desert had some nice quality of life items.
It really did.
I like Meyer area first after Mitts just immediately because it's just really quick checks without having to climb the mountain or anything.
Yep.
Yeah, we were still thinking potential ice rod out there. So we wanted to kind of soft go mode, sort of.
Mm-hmm. And we've got Qirn joining us in chat, and let's go ahead and announce so Marcnificent at this point does forfeit, so we can get him in here as well. GG's for finishing that out, Qirn. You definitely had it a little bit harder, as you probably realize right now, having missed the silver arrows, the gold sword, and half magic.
Yeah, where were they?
Okay, so gold sword, the extra sword for you guys would have been Mire Shed.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Half magic was Desert Big Chest.
Of course.
And by the way, there was an extra mail upgrade on the right side of desert as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, more skip chests. Yes.
And silver arrows were on the mushroom turning.
Oh man.
See, you guys,
Like you guys were there turning, buying potions.
you guys made the mistake of finding Ice Rod a bit too early.
Yeah. Well, also.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that maybe when I think it's due to me and Mark's maybe relative inexperience with Randomizer, but just because you're in go mode doesn't mean that you're like good to go. You know what I mean? And Mark has 8 hearts. I didn't realize that until I saw him on the restream, and I was like, how did I fail you? I could have got you 3 more hearts or something.
Yeah. Yeah, because you assume that everything's gonna just be the normal, Ice Almost, maybe Lamola 2, Moldorm 2, everything's gonna be, but you just can never assume that little whatever spike guy on the torch room, that trolled me, and I just was like, I have no magic, no potions, no 1 bottle, no
rollers in the dark room of TR.
Yes, yeah, yep.
Yeah,
They warned me about that, but I still tried it anyways, failed, so. Yep. That's just, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, the spike ball in the room before laser bridge, which is, I guess, a laser bridge as well. You just don't pick anything up.
Yeah, somehow I just I dashed right through it and went straight through it. So that was okay. But
you frame ruled it, nice.
Yeah, I just dashed down, got lucky. Got lucky.
Oh my.
Yeah, when Hitaka ran into that, I wondered if azder had told him that it was there, because he just face planted it. And then
he did, but I forgot by the time I got there. Yeah, the spike balls played well today.
It's funny because there were a lot of moments like that for us, like, oh my god, there's a roller in front of pod or whatever. There's a wall master in the dark maze, and it didn't, it doesn't matter. We can tell each other, but that doesn't mean we're going to be able to do anything about it,
Yeah.
Oh, I was so scared of the small balls in front of pod. One just came out of the ground right next to me, and if it had hit me, I wasn't going to be able to do anything about it. And he was asked, because they do 4 hearts, they would have killed us. And he was asking me, is there one in a dangerous spot in front of pod? And I didn't know how to answer the question.
Yeah, I'd already died twice trying to walk the pod, and I was not going to do it again.
Until the hammer showed up.
I was very convinced there was something there, so I was I don't want to go to I don't want to go to Hera because we don't know what the boss is. I don't want to dive dungeons that are linear and expect us to go to the end too quickly, because then you just end up with the boss you can't kill.
Yeah.
Well, that was something
I died so many times that I was just
Sorry.
Yeah, there were a lot of deaths on all fronts.
I figured I might as well check Hera instead of keep dying to pod, so.
Until the hammer showed up.
Until the hammer showed up.
Until the hammer showed up, yeah.
I think Jesse has a question for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of onto your point of skipping Hera for so long, it was kind of surprising you both went straight for Aga very early in that seed. You were pretty much both in Aga Tower at the same time, without checking Hera, even 1 item away from Dark World access. Was this really just wanting to avoid a boss that you couldn't complete?
It was.
That played into it, yeah, because your dungeons aren't really free anymore. Finishing Eastern wasn't free. Finishing Hera wasn't guaranteed, and it seemed very, very likely at that point that Aga was required. And the thing is, I went to the castle having only the Moon Pearl and Lamp and Aga stuff, and then found the glove there. And then that was oh, okay, well, maybe we get a hammer, but one of us died. I think Hitaka died in Eastern, and it just became we were going to bleed too much time if we did other stuff.
Yeah, the Eastern Palace was those rooms right before the boss were pretty nasty, and then you fight Moth.
Yeah, you fight Moth. I fought Moth. You guys, just so you know, Hitaka and azder, I fought Moth with Samaria strats.
Nice.
Yeah, we enjoyed that.
Because I was just too chicken to get too close to it. I had 1 hit to die.
Because you were still on Fighter's Sword at the time, so yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was a good choice on your part. And a couple we saw that earlier this week, and I wish I remember for sure who it was. I want to say it was Chelsea, but I just don't know for sure.
I would buy that.
Who ended up using I know it was one of the lady runners. So
Were you talking about? Sorry, was it this week or another week?
it was this week because it was an Randomizer.
She's not playing this week, so.
Oh no, you're right. It wasn't Chelsea. Gosh. Okay,
Was
so
was it Emma? Sorry.
it might have because I commentated that race. And I don't think it was the one I commentated, but it could have been. I might be just mixing up which races were which. But yeah, it was definitely it was definitely fun to watch that. So and definitely good to see you doing that as well, Qirn. I think that was a smart move.
Okay, so the big thing I want to bring up is before we go is that I'm surprised that we were still in a decent position considering what happened to us with the mitts. I died in the Thieves Town basement just before getting
that was unfortunate.
just before getting a blind cell key, and didn't go back for it. We ended up finding out there was a cold stair there, so I just told us both to not go back for that at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain you last location that. I am curious about what you did right after that, though, because it looked for a moment like you were going to do the Smith chain, where Hitaka had already gone over to check the Meyer area.
I was going to do Smith chain, and then I realized that Mitts put us in go mode minus Ice Rod. So Smith
right,
chain
because you knew
probably
Fire
not
Rod.
a good idea.
Okay.
It took us a minute. We were basically routing already, like we were in go mode after we got mitts, but it took us a minute to even start thinking about that. Like it was like right before I picked up Ice Rod and Turtle Rock that we're like, oh wait, are we in go mode right now?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that until azder mentioned it.
Yeah, it messes with your brain, Randomizer, because the different requirements on the
Yep.
bosses.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had so much trouble knowing how to do basic rooms because I was trying to. My brain was trying to deal with random enemies and communicating stuff at the same time. So
Yeah.
I didn't have any brain power left to do like simple room movement that, or just like remember not to mirror on top of where the library is going to be. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when did they get the mitts relative to us?
Probably before, because
It was quite a bit before. In terms of like you guys had more crystals when they got their mitts, but time wise, I'd say about 5 minutes maybe.
they
Yeah.
realized
That's a
go
very
mode.
rough estimate.
Like they
Really?
realized go mode before we had
Yeah.
a chance at it, and that's why they missed all the other stuff. The
Pretty much.
safeties.
Exactly.
Rest in peace, safeties.
Yep.
I was
Okay.
actually
Pointing
really.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was really questioning the dip into T-Rock that I was taking because the only thing that a T-Rock dip was going to do was put us at risk for finding a Trinex we couldn't kill, and the only thing it would do is the only thing it could do is save a mountain climb, but it wasn't going to do that because we had to get the Fire Rod off there anyways.
Yep.
So I'm just going into TR and I'm just like, there's actually literally no benefit to me doing this right now. And I found the Ice Rod.
First check, if I'm not mistaken.
I was actually considering bailing.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was kind of like, I think we're only Ice Rod from Trinex. If we do get Trinex, so it was like, let's just go for it. And he's like, oh wait, I got Ice Rod. That's exactly what we communicated. I was like,
Yeah, we didn't even have time to process all that, Azder. You were far ahead of us in the mental game. We were like, what's go mode again? And then we found Ice Rod, and we're like, okay, that's go mode.
It's like, that's good, but I have 6 hearts.
Yeah, sorry, Mark.
Yeah, it's okay.
One thing that Tracy kept saying to me though, when she was watching the matches this week, is that a lot of so many of the matches have been really early no mode.
Yes.
Or
Yes, they have.
yeah, and that got me thinking that we need to be on top of thinking about that and not check too much out of the way stuff because of that. because if that holds true, and we did a bunch of really bad stuff in practice that I think we managed to cut almost all of our bad habits out for this race at least.
Oh, practice. Oh.
To be fair, how many practice seeds did you guys do?
We
One.
won.
Still, that's a million times percent more than we did.
Yeah,
It was
0. Yeah.
It was an absolute disaster, and I think we learned from it.
It was enough to figure out a lot of what we shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that's
really
hard.
the good reason, to practice, especially in League, because you're always changing modes, and you have to remember how does key sanity or whatever work again, and then
Like, I actually decided for the co-op weeks we're doubling up with only 2 people, with like the same 2 people are doing everything because it makes the practice more efficient.
Actually, that's a good idea.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah,
with
it's in the
one.
rules. Although on the pilot spoil you do have to switch roles, so you know.
Oh, that's why I thought about that. Okay.
All right,
All right,
so
next year.
yeah, so that does. I'm looking at the standings here, so that does officially clinch the division for you guys, Azder and Hitaka. How do you guys feel about that?
I was pretty worried going into this. Not worried because like we already clinched the playoffs, but this is a mode that, like, okay, we're already not good at co-op. We're not good at Randomizer. And so
It can be a volatile mode because of all
yeah.
the weird stuff that can happen.
Yeah, it could have easily gone south. Like even with opponents, like we didn't necessarily know they were going to do no practice, but even with them doing no practice, we could have really easily made mistakes, made even worse mistakes that would have lost the race. So I didn't think any of the wins this week were going to be free. So it's nice to get the win to make sure that we get the top spot in the division so that we don't have to worry about the first week.
Especially after we had a decent lead, and then Mystery Week was a disaster. So
Yeah,
shout outs to Triforce Hunt.
Yeah, I still don't know officially, but I believe there were 4 Triforce Hunts, 2 between your teams, 3 in your division.
Oh.
So,
That's why they call us Misery Meyer Division.
Apparently.
Yeah, those Triforce races were really close too. I mean, Aussie lost by 8 minutes, but he would have won if he had checked Eastern Big Key.
Yeah.
So it was like in both cases, it was like one piece here or there that made the entire difference.
It's 30 ice rod hunts. That's, because I think you
Pretty
both had
much.
30. Yeah, it's just 30 ice rod hunts, so. And if you just happen to get there quicker, then you win.
But like, it was still a good skip from him. Like, I agree with it, but it just he would have won if he didn't do it.
Yeah, it happens.
It's random.
So yeah, actually, that did put us in a really scary spot.
Yeah, I think there was like a big prediction scenario document with all those possible scenarios for playoffs, and they just didn't do our division because us losing that week made everything so chaotic with all the. How many teams were tied for right behind us, 5 or something?
Oh, it was 5. Yeah, it was at one because we had it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was 5 because it was 5 because it was WJPDP. Did you check your boot? Double Dippers, and they vetoed our acronym. And Old Swagger Jackson all had the same record, and you guys are 1 game ahead after the mystery week, if I remember correctly. So.
That was the chaos standings.
Yeah. So those will sort themselves out. I do believe Did You Check Your Boot and Double Dippers will be playing for the last spot in the division tomorrow. So that'll certainly be an interesting one to watch.
So I think the last game for us matters only in terms of seeding, and because seeding doesn't matter for the actual structure of the playoff bracket, it's only going to determine who gets the advantage in picking modes for games 3 and 5.
Mm-hmm. Right,
So it matters
for
a
once
tiny
you
bit.
into the third round of the playoffs, I guess that would be when you start playing the other divisions.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, y'all, I gotta go, but GG's, and good luck in the brackets.
Thank you.
Thank you, Qirn, and thank you for putting on a show for us.
Oh, anytime.
And GG to all our runners. And if you're not already following them, let's see if this is. There we go. It's working. Go ahead and click those links right now and follow our runners. Also, my partner and our trackers. Definitely want to again shout out our trackers, Yoinker's wife and Drossi. Jesse, it was a pleasure commentating with you. Big thanks.
Fun.
Big thanks to everybody behind the scenes at SpeedGaming and in the league. And I guess I should give you all one last chance if there's anything else you want to add before I close this out.
I'm just going to say watch the races tomorrow. There's a lot at stake in the league for this last day of the regular season. So
there's a slew of races tomorrow. I'll go through them in just a second before let anybody else have any last words before I do.
I said everything.
Get Gold Sword for double cold stare.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was a really good call. I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't said anything.
Yeah, we had different tempers, so we both knew where the other person's Gold Sword was. And we weren't going to get them, but then I thought about it, and I knew we had 2 cold stares coming up, and one of them was on Moldorm's Arena, which is bad.
Yeah.
But Gold Sword just makes it cake, so I decided to grab it and told him that, and he decided to grab his.
Yeah, that worked out well.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, I was thinking of some of the Ice Trinex fights we saw earlier today, with the difference being, and some of those were on Master Sword. So.
Also, it worked out even better because Gold Sword lets you slash the Buzz Blobs without getting shocked.
Yep.
Man, there was a Trinex.
And Trinex did show up. All right, so the schedule for tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see. I'll try and guess by the points showing up here which ones have meaning. So the Bomb Squad versus Error 216, Adirondack Rick and Sinak versus Error and Thalane. I do believe Error 216 still has, I believe that division has not settled yet in terms of who's in first place, but I'm not sure. At 210, we have Triple Dino Disaster versus Never Do Chickens. That's Scholzer and Shireen versus Wolfie and Dracaris. At 210, we have the rematch of this group, Shaq Digging Game versus Old Swagga Jackson.
Can I point out one thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
So if Error 216 wins tomorrow, they win Cat Cricket Division. If they lose, then Pug Trio wins Cat Cricket Division.
Okay, yeah, I knew there was still something to play for there. So yeah, those details are good to know. So that'll be Hitaka and Azure, but this time Walter will join Qirn. At 310, we have Team Kappa versus Waffle House Drive-Thru, Gamma True 2 and 1-Up versus Salty Fry and Matt. 7898. I think that match has some meaning too.
Just looking at the standings, Team Kappa is confirmed for playoffs. Waffle House does have a chance to still make it.
There you go.
Them and Tal Roomies. And
Wow.
actually Seal W. So
yeah, Seal W.
Seal W is done all their matches, so they can't.
You're right. Sorry.
Okay.
Waffle House Drive-Thru, if they win, they're tied with Tal Roomies, and they have 1-1 split record against them. So it's going to go to what their records are against Team Kappa and Fendrano Drifters, which I don't know. The spreadsheet will say, but it'll be really complicated if Waffle House wins that one.
It's a very convenient document showing all the tiebreakers across Invitational and Open League, and it is a work of art.
Yeah, definitely shout outs to I gotta shout out Drossi because we talked before the race, and apparently Drossi did most of the work on most of the divisions for that, so definitely shout outs to him. Also at 310 we have But We're Buddies versus They Vetoed Our Acronym, Lot Cole and Fantalis versus Act the Boker and Gem. At 3:10 as well, we had 2 Pearl, 2 Furious versus the Spoilers, Scary Olive and Trinex versus Shady Force and Dr. Mardio. At 4:10, we have I Like Big Boots versus Last Locationers, Relkin and Ganon's Gone Wild versus Goomba and Lin Lin Lin. I don't even have the points on that one. At 5:10, we have We're Buddies again versus they beat our acronym again, Lock Live and Fantalis versus Activoker and Korek this time. And then finally, that match we talked about earlier, Did You Check Your Boots versus Double Dippers, which will be for that last playoff spot in the Misery Mire division, Tam and Werfjig versus Moogle Charm and Edom. So check your schedules. I'm sure we're going to try to get restreams on for as many of those matches as we can. And full day of Link to the Past Randomizer tomorrow. It looks like that'll be it for us. We'll see you all tomorrow. We've already shouted out everybody. So we'll just go ahead and close it out by saying, watch a whole lot of Link to the Past tomorrow.